As you know from watching our previous videos, we do things from scratch. Well, tonight we're actually going to do something from scratch. And when I say that, I don't mean that our previous videos had anything in them that were pre-made. What I'm saying is I've never done this before. We're going to do shrimp tacos. It's going to be based on knowledge that I've acquired over the years in making Mexican food. But we're going to use shrimp this time. Some basic Mexican ingredients here. We got a yellow onion, some garlic, some limes, 1 tomato, some hickory wood chips soaked in water, salt, black pepper, chili de árbol powder, and cumin. We got some soft tortillas, some cilantro, and of course a pound of shrimp. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to do this on the grill, completely on the grill. No saute pans whatsoever. No fry pans, nothing. Just a cutting board, some basic ingredients, and a charcoal grill. So let's get started. First thing we want to do, we want to make a rub for the shrimp. The reason we want to do that first is because the chili powder and the cumin or any other dry spice that you use, it's gritty. And you don't want that grittiness coming out in the shrimp after you've cooked them. Shrimp, you're only going to cook for about a minute aside if your charcoal is good and hot. You don't want to overcook the shrimp. It also doesn't have a lot of fat. It actually doesn't have any fat really. So that's not going to allow the chili powder to become moist. It's almost going to be gritty like sand if you were to just apply it dry on the shrimp and try to cook it that way. So we're going to use chili de árbol powder. If you can't find chili de árbol powder, that's fine, because there's a really popular video on YouTube called How to Make Your Own Chili Powder. I suggest you look it up. Anyway, we're going to just eyeball this. We've never done this before, so there's no set recipe. We're just going to eyeball it. We're going to put about 2 tablespoons of chili de árbol powder. We're going to put some more cumin. There's cumin in the chili powder, and you would know that if you watched the chili powder video. But we're going to put a little bit more cumin in it, since we're cooking Mexican. We're going to put some salt. And we're going to put some fresh ground black pepper. And that's our base. That's our rub. Take a fork, get that good and mixed up. Now, as I said, you apply that to the shrimp as slow or as quickly as you're going to cook it, and that's just going to be, it's going to be gritty. It's not going to have a good texture to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some vegetable oil, and we're going to pour some vegetable oil in there and make a paste. Again, there's no set amount. We've never done this. That's too clumpy, so we're gonna put just a little bit more in there. And that's about what we're looking for. Now what's going to happen is this oil is going to soak into the chili powder and into the cumin and into the black pepper, and it's going to soften it up. So once that's softened up and we've got the shrimp skewered, we're just going to rub that on the shrimp. It's going to do 2 things. That's going to give it flavor, of course, and it's also going to keep the shrimp from sticking to the grill. Okay, so we got our rub, our paste made up. Let's cut up our fruits and vegetables. We're actually going to grill the limes. I thought this was crazy when I saw it done on TV, but it actually does work. It's a pain in the ass to squeeze a lime and get all the juices out of it. But if you grill the flesh side of the lime, it actually breaks down the pulp and makes it very easy, and it's just got a sweeter flavor to it. So we got our limes cut up. We're going to cut the ends off the tomatoes. The tomato, actually, we're going to make a sour cream sauce with the tomatoes. We're going to blend it up. So we've got the chili de arbol powder. That's going to put a lot of heat on those shrimp, and we're actually going to cool it down with a sour cream, tomato, garlic mixture that, again, I'm just completely pulling out of my ass. The onion, this is a trick that you'll want to remember. Forget this recipe. Grilled onions are absolutely delicious. I don't know what it is about grilling an onion, but when you grill an onion, it takes all the bitterness out of the onion and it becomes sweet. If you really char it well on the grill, it almost tastes like a fried onion, as sweet as it is without the batter, without the grease. Now, this onion came from Publix. Sorry, Publix, but your produce department sucks. You see that? That's what you'll get from a Publix onion. So if you can get your produce fresh from a farmer's market, that's preferable. In fact, I can't even use that onion. Thankfully, I have a backup onion. There, that's better. Obviously, we don't own stock in Publix, or I wouldn't be that forthcoming. But as a general rule, no matter where you get your produce from, it's always better to get it from a farmer's market anyway. Now we're going to leave the skin on, and that's for grilling purposes. That'll allow the onion to stay together as you grill it. The interesting about this technique is that the skin will actually burn off as you're grilling it, so you'll never need to remove it. So there, we've got our limes, we've got our onion, we got our tomatoes all cut up. Now all we got to do is sprinkle some olive oil on there and season them with some salt and pepper, and they'll be ready for the grill. Why the olive oil? I don't know, that's what they do on TV. And it works good, and it tastes yummy. Maybe it's so that the salt and pepper sticks to it. So just season even the limes, you want to season those too. Some salt, some black pepper. Absolutely no reason why you need to take the time to do both sides. In fact, the more you move the onions, the more likely they are to fall apart. And when they go on the grill, we'll put them on olive oil side down, and then you'll want to flip them one time. You cannot flip these more than once or they'll fall apart on you. Everything else is, you're only going to do the flesh side of the limes. Originally, I planned on moving the studio outside to show you how to grill these, but that's completely unnecessary. You're just going to char them on both sides. It doesn't matter what it is, the tomatoes or the onions, you just want to char them almost completely black on both sides, and that's how you do it. And I don't need to teach you how to grill shrimp, so we're not going to take that step. We're just going to, do, the prep, and then I'm going to bring everything inside after we grill it to show you how to prepare it on a plate. Okay, what we got here is we got some medium to small shrimp, and I bought them already peeled and deveined. Okay, and I paid a little bit more money for them. They were $7.99 a pound, which all things considering isn't that bad compared to other meats. But I tell you what, if I would have saved, let's say that non-peeled and deveined shrimp was $1.99 a pound, I'd still buy the peeled and deveined shrimp at $7.99 a pound. And for any of you who have spent an entire day peeling and deveining shrimp, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If I had to peel and devein shrimp, guess what? I'd never eat shrimp. It's that big a pain in the ass. But anyway, we got these. We're going to skewer them up One trick on TV that is a neat trick is they take wooden skewers and they soak them in water so that they don't burn. Now that's cool for pork or chicken or things that are going to stay on the grill for a long, long time. Not necessary with shrimp. They're only going to go about a minute aside because it's shrimp. It's skinny and it's seafood. You don't want to overcook it, and by the time it's done cooking, the wooden skewer will never burn. So if you've got wooden skewers, don't bother taking the time to soak them in water. The other thing they do is they use 2 skewers per row. So they'll go down one side with a skewer and they'll go down the other side so that they lay flat. But that's completely unnecessary with these shrimp because they're so small. If you're using jumbo shrimp, yeah, you want to use 2 skewers. In this case, we're just going to skewer them one at a time. We've got metal skewers, which are far superior to wooden skewers for no other reason than you'll never run out of them. Nothing pisses me off more than getting a recipe together in my head and thinking I have skewers or aluminum foil or charcoal or lighter fluid or anything else that you think you have, and then you get home and you realize you got to go back to the grocery store to get it. Not a happy moment in our house. So we've got metal skewers. They don't expire. You can use them 100 times and they're cheap. I recommend you buy some. So we're just going to skewer these up like this. Nothing to it. Just don't go through the center because there's nothing holding them on. If you go fat end to skinny end like this, you've got 2 parts of the shrimp, and therefore that eliminates the need for 2 skewers. As you can see, they flip without spinning, and that's how you skewer up shrimp. So I'm going to continue doing this. I'll get back with you once I'm done, and we'll rub these down with the rub that we made. Okay, so this paste has been sitting for about 10-15 minutes. It's pretty well incorporated. So it's ready to be put on the shrimp. Before we do, I don't want to forget, we're going to need a clove of garlic for our sauce. So we're going to grill this. When you do that, you want to get a big clove of garlic. Not because you want a lot of garlic necessarily, but so that the garlic clove doesn't fall through the grate on your grill. So again, just push down. The skin comes right off. And we'll grill this up with the rest of the vegetables. But now that we've got this paste, we're just going to use our hands and apply this to the shrimp. Just rub it in there. Now I want you to remember something, and I mentioned this in the chili powder video, and this is very important. You do not, under any circumstances, once you're done handling this chili de arbol, touch your eyes or your genitals. Now,
or anybody else's.
Right. You may forget one time and do that, but I assure you, after the first time you do, you won't forget a second time. You'll know not to. My right hand tonight is done. Even if I wash my hands 3 or 4 times, I instinctively know, because I've been burned literally so many times, that the right hand is off limits for eyeballs and genitalia. So we're just going to continue to spread this on here. We're going to do both sides. It doesn't need to soak in. Shrimp is a very forgiving medium for taking on flavor. It doesn't have a lot of flavor, and it's a very tender meat. So that flavor in this rub is going to soak in very, very fast. So as soon as I'm done, I'm going to take these out to the grill, and I'm going to do the vegetables first. I'm going to do the onions and the tomatoes and the limes first, because they're going to take the longest. They're going to take about, depending on how hot you've got your charcoal, they're going to take about 3.5 to 4 minutes per side. The shrimp, on the other hand, is going to take a minute per side, as I said earlier. The thing about shrimp, you can overcook it very, very easily. I like searing it like a steak on high heat. That's why I like using charcoal. And while we're on the subject, and again, I'm not sponsored by anybody, I'm not paid by anybody, I just go by my experiences. The only charcoal to buy is original Kingsford, as far as I'm concerned. Now there may be some off brands out there that are good, some hardwood brands that are good, but for the money, I mean, $10 for a 10-pound bag of Kingsford is about as good as it gets. I don't like buying charcoal that has, hickory infused in it or other hardwoods infused in it. Because I like to change that up myself. Tonight we're using hickory because I like using hickory with Mexican food. But I may want to use mesquite tomorrow night and then apple chips the night after that. And you can't do that if you have a charcoal that already has the smoked hardwood in it. But that's it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to transfer this out to the grill. Again, I'd like to take you out there. This is going to be a quick video. If you don't know how to grill shrimp and vegetables, then you got some problems. You probably haven't made it this far through my video. But I'm going to take these out here and I'm going to blacken the vegetables, and then I'm going to cook the shrimp. Then I'm going to bring everything together and we're going to put them in flour tortillas. And we're going to have some shrimp tacos. Okay, we're done grilling. That took all of 10 minutes, people. Here's what you want to see. You want the onions blackened. You want the tomatoes blackened. You want the limes caramelized, and that's what the shrimp should look like. So, I mean, when you do the limes like this, I mean, the juices are literally running out of them. That's what you want. Okay, so normally, if I was cooking for a large number of people, obviously I'd have more vegetables, I'd have more shrimp, and I would use the blender to make the sauce. But since I'm only cooking for a couple people tonight, I'm going to use the magic bullet. And Anita and I picked this up at, where the hell did we get this thing? Kohl's. And back then it was like $50. I think you can get one now for 25 bucks, but I seriously recommend you get one of these things. They're really, really handy if you're making sauces or daiquiris or any kind of individual drink or mixture. Okay, so let's make the sour cream sauce. Again, I'm doing this from scratch, from the top of my head. I wanted some tomatoes, some charred tomatoes in it. I wanted some garlic in it, and that's basically it. And when we blend this up, it's actually going to look pink, and pink, kind of like the shrimp. So we'll start off. We need a spoon for the sour cream. We're going to take all the tomatoes, all the charred tomatoes, and put those in first. We'll put the whole clove of garlic, which we roasted up. It's supposed to be black like that. That's what you want. That just gives it more flavor. Some sour cream. By the way, you didn't see it, but I pulled the tomatoes off the grill first so that they would cool. And that was so that when you make your sauce, it doesn't heat up the sour cream. That should be enough. Okay, so we got to add a little bit of salt, black pepper, it's the nice thing about the magic bullet here. Ends up pink. really yummy. Okay, so we got our sauce done. See, the other nice thing about this bullet, you just screw the blender attachment back on, put it in the refrigerator. Okay, so now for the rest of the vegetables. I want to chop up these onions. I got a bowl here. We're gonna chop these onions up. We're gonna put the shrimp in there, mix them up with the onions. We're gonna add some queso fresco, some Mexican crumbling cheese. So just a rough chop on these onions. Okay, now we'll de-skewer the shrimp, which the camera woman has been sampling.
Just once.
Twice.
One for me and one for Randy. And it's hot.
Okay, so we got that. We'll use that fork. We'll just mix this up. Now I thought about taking the lime juice and squeezing it right over this, but I don't want to do that because, you know, I may not, I've got a lot of shrimp there. I mean, I've got enough shrimp there for probably 8 tacos, and the likelihood of Anita and I eating 8 tacos tonight is highly unlikely. So I'm going to want to save this for leftovers. Maybe we'll do shrimp nachos tomorrow. Who knows? But if I were to take the limes and squeeze it over that right now, that lime juice is actually going to get in there and it's going to break down that shrimp from all the acid. And I don't want to do that. So when I use the limes, I'm going to do that last as I'm plating. So we got that there. Now we got to get the queso fresco out and break it up. We're going to break up a bowl of queso fresco and we're going to start plating this up. We're going to be eating soon. Okay, so let's get this plated up. Flour tortilla. I mean, if you get fresh corn tortilla, you could use that. I'd actually prefer corn tortilla, but I haven't mastered making tortillas yet. You can't buy them at the store and expect to fold them without them cracking. But if you can get some fresh corn tortillas, that's how I would prefer this. Alright, so we got our flour tortillas down. Got our shrimp and onions. Spoon those in. Okay. Got that. Well, let's, we got our lime, our grilled limes. That's how that's supposed to look. And just see how easy that comes out. Try and do that with a fresh lime. It'll never happen. So we got our lime juice, and we want to put down some queso fresco. Take some cilantro. Be liberal with the cilantro.
It's yummy.
That, okay, there's a lot of heat there in that chili de árbol powder. So we want to hit it with our tomato, garlic, sour cream sauce. Okay? And so there you go. Makeshift shrimp tacos. Just like that. Okay? So it's time for Gonzo Girl to come in here and do a cameo. And?
Muy delicioso. It's great, man.
Awesome. Okay, well we're going to go ahead and we're going to have dinner. So to recap this, we made shrimp tacos. We've never made shrimp tacos before. We used the chili powder that we'd made before, We use several different techniques, one of which is grilling vegetables, specifically grilling onions. Just used basic ingredients that we use, and you know, you don't have to have a recipe. You don't have to go on recipes.com once you learn how to cook. You can just pull this stuff out of your ass. I came up with this recipe on the way home from work. I thought to myself, what am I going to cook for dinner tonight? Shrimp tacos. Okay, so you walk around the grocery store, you get the produce that you need, you get the shrimp, you know what you're going to do, you get home, you do it. You saw how fast this was. It doesn't take any, you know, big amount of time, and it was cheap. I might have had $5 in the produce, and I know I paid $7.99 for the shrimp, for a pound of shrimp. I got enough shrimp for tonight and enough shrimp for tomorrow. And this is gourmet shit, people. This isn't, you can't buy shrimp tacos like this at a Mexican restaurant. I mean, you may find one that has shrimp tacos, but they're not this good. And that's because we do it all from scratch, start to finish. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. We're going to do another video soon. I think we're going to do pork tenderloin sandwiches, so we'll break the fryer after that one. In the meantime, peace. We'll see you next time.